سڵاو قوتابیان گەڕام وڵاتان بۆ تاواکردنی بابەتی ڕابردووی کەوا لە نیوترالایزیشن ڕاوەستاوین دەرسی ڕابردوو لەگەڵم بن بەڵکو بتوانین تێکەڵچێژێکی دروستکەین لە بینی دەرسی ڕۆیشت و دەرسی ئەوڕۆ ئینشاڵڵا بتوانم بە باشترین شێوەی سوودتان پێ بگەێنم لەگەڵم بن. دەرسی ڕابردوو تەواوی وردەکاریەکانی بابەتی نیوترالایزیشن و خستە و last time of course I have explained all the details about the neutralization reaction. As a quick revision, I said neutralization is the reaction between acid plus base to form. Neutralization reaction is the reaction between acid and base to form salt and the water molecule, which is a molecular compound. So name this molecular compound that can be produced or that's always produced in the neutralization reaction. Of course, it's water. Good. Now I said if the salt is AQ, then the ions of the salt equal to the spectator ions, and at the same time net ionic equation equals to the neutralization, which is H3O plus OH to form two water molecules, AQ liquid. But if the salt is solid, then there will be no spectator ions, and net ionic equals to the overall ionic equation. درس رابردو عندما خوندو باسی neutralization وكر how to write the neutralization and how to balance the neutralization as well as. Good. We have a nice question here. Look. For the neutralization reaction involving the aqueous solutions of H3PO4 and MgOH/2. I'm not going to show you how to write the reaction again, okay? Because I have solved too many examples last time. MgOH/2 plus the H2SO4, the salt will be Mg3PO4/2 and 6 molecules of water. Good. But there's a very strange part in the question. Look, assume that the solutions are sufficiently diluted so that no precipitate formed. Look, once the question said assume, example, AgCl, silver chloride, it's a solid substance. But if I say assume this is aqueous, so we put aqueous instead. Or NaCl is AQ, right? If I say assume this is a solid substance, okay. So we will go according to the assumption. This must be solid. Okay? يعني أجا بسيارك قلت وادا بني أو وقت علاج مني عندي بجرب سياري برون وادا دنين باشا إس NaCl بابرين AQ ونيا بسيارك بلي وادا بني أو solid هنجينا بالsolid ده بني أوها ليرش وادا لي دريت نسي وادا بني the two solutions are sufficiently diluted or and do girawaka on the dilute krana so that no precipitate is formed. It means we don't get any precipitate. The point is, according to the rules of solubility and precipitation, this one must be solid. But the question said no precipitate is formed. That means this is AQ. But if I remove this part in the question, so now the salt must be solid. Okay? But because the question said assume no precipitate is formed, so this must be AQ. Okay? That was all. The only trick in this question. How of created Abu Basha. And now let's get the second form of the question. This time we will have the salt directly instead of having the acid and the base. The question can give you the salt. So in this case, we should get back the original substances, which are the acid and the base. Look at this, my dear. Let me show you how to solve this. Great. Write the formula equation. It means the reaction between the acid and the base, the overall ionic equation, and the net ionic equation for a neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction means we have an acid plus base to form salt and the H2O. Okay. That would form each of the following salts. The first one, RbClO4, rubidium perchlorate. Look, in this case, the salt is given. The salt is RbClO4. So you should guess. You should get back the acids and the base. Rb, it came from RbOH. ClO4, the charge is -1, so it came from HClO4. That means the reaction must be between these two to get this plus what? H2O. This is the idea. يعني صولتك داي تمام. ورا أسيد وبيسك بقرنه وبخود. صولتكش حاضر هي. كلها الأسانتريلا type يكم. This is even easier than the first type of the question. Because we have the product directly. So you can solve this question just like this. Look, this salt, perchlorate compounds are aqueous. So these are the spectators, and the net will be H3O plus OH to form 2H2O. But if the salt is solid, there is no spectator. خلاص, that's all. باب سيارة دبو حالكم دي جانكم. أقال دي ربي برايمن كريمن. يلا ليرة حلية كم وين أسترمو هالليرة باسيكم. RbClO4 has been obtained from the reaction between RbOH plus HClO4. The salt is given directly, which is RbClO4 plus what? H2O. Good, it's balanced itself. The physical states AQ, this one is AQ, this is liquid. The salt is AQ, so the ions of the salt will become the spectator, Rb plus ClO4. These are the spectators, and net ionic equation will be this without thinking. H3O AQ plus OH negative AQ to form 2H2O. Done. So this is the second type. You can solve the rest of the other questions like this. أوشن باسكت درس الرابردو بافكرك تبيغلي ماديسان دي BA it came from BaOH by 2 plus SO4 H2SO4 together to form the salt. BaSO4 plus H2O. Now this is balanced. Okay, this is AQ. This one is solid, liquid. So there's no spectator. There's no spectator because the salt is solid and overall equals to the net ionic equation. تمام بابي من هر اون ديتي ده قناعتك. ورا أبسيار أنا حلكولو خود باشا. Then answer the next type of the question. Before going to do this, we have a very small trick. Bala birina ken. Zamad, agatu basi NH3. If you have NH3, example, NH3 plus HCl. So how to write this reaction? Look, NH3 plus HCl. How to write this reaction? Where is OH of the base? Look, so the weak bases, which are NH3, CH3NH2, and aniline, C6H5NH2. Okay, in their aqueous solution, they will become what? NH4OH. And this one, CH3, NH3OH. Add one hydrogen with OH. Add one hydrogen with OH. Add 3, 4, OH. 2 will become 3 with OH. 2 will become 3 with OH. C6H5 NH3 OH. Okay. So the weak bases in their aqueous solution, they will gain a proton with one OH. So they will become their hydroxide forms. دبنا هيدروكسيد كان يعني باشا يعني يكسر والرياكشن اللي بونانسي مش شاكب زانا NH3 دبيتا سي دبيتا NH4OH NH3 دبيتا سي NH4OH plus what HCl because these are AQ دبيتا سي يلا دي. So now the salt is very easy to get the salt. The salt is NH4Cl plus H2O. And you know how to do the other steps. Good. Now there's another type of the reaction, a reaction between the acid and the active metal. Acid and active metal. So active metals mainly are group 1 or group 2, aluminum, Zn, and copper. Okay, and we have some else elements. But in the book, mainly we have the following elements. Okay. Acid plus active metal to form salt and releasing hydrogen gas. Okay, if you remember, this is the third point of the properties of the acids. Some acids react with the active metals to release hydrogen gas. If you remember, check the properties of the acids. You will find out this point in there. Okay, and in there I have said by the end of the chapter we'll get back to this. I mean, okay, ما بس no pointer. باش حياتهم يلا بابي مسيارش حالكين. Example معناه تمشاكه. For the reaction between Zn and HCl. Okay, يلا. لەگەڵم بە Zn and the HCl. This is the reaction between metal, active metal, and acid. First of all, it's not important if we have hydrogen by any number, if it's 1, 2, 3. The point is, remove all the hydrogens as H2. How is it possible? Babi من ببالانس علاجي لكن, okay? 1H, we cannot have H like this. It must be diatomic molecule. Or if it's 3, we cannot like H3. We cannot have H like H3, okay? It must be H2 always, diatomic molecule. Then using balancing, we're gonna overcome this problem, okay? So now, I have removed H in the formation of H2. Then what left? Zn and Cl. ZnCl2, because charge of Zn is +2. Okay, it must be balanced. Start from the anion of the salt, 2 chlorides. This is 1 times 2, good. 1 Zn, 1 Zn, 2 hydrogens, 2 hydrogens. This is balanced. Then the physical states. The metal is always solid, but if we have mercury, it will be liquid. It must be a liquid substance. Good? Then HCl is AQ. This one, ZnCl2, according to the rules, is AQ. This is a gas. Okay. This is what the formula equation. And now it's time for the overall ionic equation. Never change the metal, okay? The metal must stay the same. Zn, uncharged. Plus 2H will become 2 hydronium ions. Because we have 2 hydronium ions, we need to have 2 OH groups? No. This is not the neutralization. There is no OH group. There is no base. So how to get OH? There is no OH. Okay. Plus 2Cl ions. AQ, AQ. How about this side? Zn plus 2. And the 2Cl negative ion. AQ, AQ. H2. You should add water molecule because we have changed H into H3O. Okay, during this conversion, we have added 2 water molecules. So we need to add these 2 water molecules here also. So if we have 2 hydronium ions, there must be 2 water molecules. 3 hydronium, 3 water molecules, 4 by 4, okay? We need to have hydronium, in this case, and water molecule by the same number. Good. How about the spectator? Spectator ion. Zn is solid, this is AQ. Not the spectator. Hydronium? No, never. Cl? Yes, Cl is the spectator. So in this case, we have only one spectator ion, which is Cl. That means in the reaction between acid and the active metal, if the salt is AQ, the negative part of the salt or negative part of the acid will be the spectator. Will be what? The spectator. And remove the spectators to get the net ionic equation. Zn solid plus 2H3O AQ to form ZnAQ plus 2 and the H2 with the 2 water molecules. Liquid gas. Okay, AQ gas liquid. كاتجا هاتو reaction man هبو بيني active metal و acid. Negative part of the acid. I guess salt like A cube, of course. If the salt is aqueous, then the negative part of the salt, which is came from the negative part, the anion of the acid, will be the spectator. And then remove the spectator at both sides to get the overall. Done. Another example. I have solved this. This is okay. يلا بقى أوش تعال بو حل كم دي بابي من لقلم بقى. Another equation, another question. I mean, the reaction between Ba and H2SO4. Okay. Look, Ba plus H2SO4. This is a reaction between the active metal and acid. Okay, the products will be remove all the hydrogens as H2. What left? BaSO4. They have the same amount of the charge, plus 2 by negative 2. They cancel out each other to get this. And the reaction is balanced itself. Then the physical states. This is solid. H2SO4AQ, solid. This one is a gas. Let's have the overall ionic equation. It will stay the same. Ba solid plus two protons, 2 hydrogens will become 2 hydronium ions. In there, we need to have 2 water molecules also. Plus SO4 negative 2. AQ. Great. Here, Ba plus 2. Solid. Wait, my dear. Okay, so I have represented your mistake. So be careful with this. This is a solid substance. It will never be splitted into the ions. So it will stay the same. BaSO4. Okay, solid. Plus what? Plus H2 gas. As I said, because we have 2 hydronium ions, so we need to have 2 water molecules here also. Good. Where's the spectator? Okay. If I said if we have active metal plus acid to form a salt, if the salt is AQ, then the negative part of the salt will become the spectator. But if the salt is solid, look at this, there's no spectator. Ba is solid here, okay, but here it's inside of the compound. It's changed. This is a charges, but here it has positively charged too. No. Here, look, hydronium never. Sulfate is AQ is solid, no. So there's no spectator. Then this step will be overall and net at the same time. باشه وازی بسیاره کن حل دکی باشه. تمام؟ باب قرينوه. جماعة لسر داواکاری قوتابیان طبعا بڕیارم دا کم کوردی تێدا بەکار بینم زیاتر because too many students they ask Mr. please if you can sometimes explain that the important thing is in Kurdish. So عندك زیرا پوینتانه که گرینگه با کوردیش باسی دکم in both languages by the way. Good. Look, the reaction between active metal and acid to form salt and hydrogen gas. If the salt is AQ, then the anion of the salt, which is the anion of the acid, equals to the spectator ion. After removing the spectator, you will get the net ionic equation. But if the salt is solid, there will be no spectator. Net ionic equation equals to the overall ionic equation. Good. Babin is a handek note man here. Let's take some important notes. Basket, the following notes. Okay, stay with me. Reaction of acid and base together is called neutralization reaction to form salt and the molecule compound, always the molecular compound, which is H2O. Good. In the reaction of sodium bicarbonate, look at this. So we have something, bicarbonates or bicarbonates, also called hydrogen carbonate. Okay, this is hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate ion. So metal carbonate or metal bicarbonate means group 1, group 2 with this ion. Group 1 and group 2. Group 1 and group 2. Okay, plus acid. The products will be, okay, the products will be salt plus H2O plus what? CO2. So these two are constant always. This is the only reaction in this chapter that results the formation of CO2. Look, the reaction between hydrogen carbonates and acid, or bicarbonate ion and the acid. And what? The acid. The product will be salt, water, CO2. Salt, water, CO2. The reaction between the acid and the bicarbonate ion, okay, that is came with the metal, of course, group 1 and group 2. The product will be three things. The products are three things. Look, CO2, salt, water. Let's have some examples. Example, NaHCO3. Look, this is sodium bicarbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate, the anti-acid, if you remember, plus HCl. Okay, so in this case, we should get three products. H2O is constant, salt, and CO2. So always write CO2 here, plus H2O, and plus salt. Okay, the salt is take the positive part here with the negative part here. They will become NaCl. Then you should balance the reaction. Another example, BaHCO3 by 2 plus H2SO4. Good. This is barium bicarbonate or barium hydrogen carbonate plus sulfuric acid. As I said, always write what? CO2 plus H2O plus the salt. For the salt, take the negative part of the acid with the positive part of this. Will become BaSO4. Nice. Okay. Think about the baking powder. Baking powder contains sodium bicarbonate and tartaric acid. So, you know, if we mix them in their aqueous solutions, carbon dioxide gas must be released. Look, these are two components of baking powder, okay? When water is added, the two compounds produce carbon dioxide that escaping, okay, carbon dioxide. The escaping carbon dioxide causes food, such as biscuit to rice. Okay, يعني ما نأخذ ما بيدرين كاتا كيشي دروز دكي. When you prepare or when you try to make a cake, okay, you will add baking powder. Initially, the baking powder is a solid substance. So that powder contains the sodium bicarbonate and tartaric acid. But because it's a solid substance initially, so they don't react together. But once you add the baking powder to the dough, okay, they will be dissolved in the water inside of the dough. Then they start to react together to release carbon dioxide, which causes the food rise. Okay? Reaction of metal ion, I think I have explained all of them. Okay? But the fifth point remains, okay? Reaction of hydride with water to produce base plus hydrogen gas. Ocean basket. I've explained this with the Bronsted-Lowry theory, if you remember. Let me give you this example. Metal carbonate, okay? Look, metal hydride, I mean. Metal hydride with a H2O. The product will be base plus H2. Good. Let's solve the following questions. Some of them, I only solved some of them. Look, which compound is produced from the neutralization reaction? Always water. Yeah, we always have water molecule as a product of the neutralization reaction. CaOH by 2, no. It's only for one. CaOH by 2, no. This is not a product of the neutralization even. HNO3, no. This is no. So this is the only thing that can be obtained always as the product of the neutralization reaction. This one, what is the neutralization? Mr. Neutralization, I remember you said it's H3O plus OH to form 2 water molecules. But neutralization reaction is acid plus base. Neutralization is properties of matter as no. Reaction of hydronium and hydroxide ion to produce salt? No. Reaction of hydronium and hydroxide ion to produce water molecule? Yes, correct. Reaction of hydrogen gas? No, it's not the hydrogen gas. In the reaction of an acid with carbonate, the 3 products, water, salt, carbon dioxide. Which of the following is not produced? We will get salt, we will get carbon dioxide and water. The only thing that cannot be produced is the oxygen. Good. دوستم ليرة تواو أنا لو خوتان حل كنو بابي منو بسيارانا چابتری دومان کۆتایی پێهینا ئینشاءالله لە چابتری سێم پێتان شاد دەبمەوە. That's all I can do. Okay, هیوادارم ئیستفادەتان لێ کردبیتن. بەردەوام بن لەگەڵم بۆ هیوایم کەوا بە داهاتووەکی گەش و نمرەکی زۆر بەرز بتان بینەوە. تاوانێ داهاتوو خواتان لەگەڵ هەر شاد بن. خواحافیز.